we're good.
Okay, good. The long drawn out. I don't know how to tell you this. All right, we are streaming. Cool. Make sure it's coming through. Good. Okay. God, I gotta do something about this cough. It's getting bad. Hello and welcome back to the Irrational Passions Podcast, 2018 Game of the Year, Deliberations. It's day 4. We're in it. We've been in it. We've been living it, and we're here to keep living it. I'm Alex O'Neill, and with me, of course, again, as always, Scott Guthier.
Hi.
Tony Horvath.
He's keeping us here hostage.
And Brian Option Jackson.
I don't know.
Send help! Send help! Alex has us locked down. Welcome to my dungeon of deliberations. We are back.
Is that like the theme of your kinky roleplay?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought it was done with defibrillators.
no, that was like 1.0. We're in 2.0 territory now, Scott. Yeah, it's a whole kink thing where like I just get off on people disagreeing with me. It's
that wasn't a secret.
Lord knows. It's why I spend so much time on Twitter. We're back. It's day 4. I hope you've listened to some of the other days, but to catch you up a little bit, we're going to be going through some categories to celebrate the games of 2018 and talk about them. We'll get right into it. There might be spoilers, especially today. I would say this first category we're getting into today is the most spoilery categories, fair warning. They are fair game. We will try and give you a little bit of warning, but if we don't, apologies. Don't take it.
At the end of Kingdom Hearts 3,
No! That'd be messed up, man.
it would be a little messed up.
And we're going to try and have some fun. Nabashin, you want to take me through today's categories?
I sure can. So we have for day 3. We have
Day 3? Are we calling this day 3 or day 4?
you tell me.
We're calling it day 4. I've decided. Day 1 is our games. Day 4 is today.
Best experience. Most current section moment of 2018. Might take that category. I can't think of anything else, but we'll see. Most surprising. Hottest take of 2018. The Yeah You Right award for game with the best game flow. And best song.
Okay. We took a couple editorial notes here, or programming notes, I should say. We took out best soundtrack. We talked about it, especially after last year. I guess there's not like a lot of standouts as like a best overall soundtrack. For us, I think the editorial side of things, they definitely we had that. So if you want to listen to those, again, there's plenty of Game of the Year content to go around. So we're just narrowing it to best song so we can kind of do our classic best song thing. I think that was it. That's the only programming note. Best experience. Most impactful moments in a game in 2018. So these are moments, levels, sequences, experiences. It's a little bit intentionally broad. Let's get into it. Facing Nergigante in Monster Hunter World. Kratos versus the Stranger in God of War. Getting the Blades in God of War. Opening from Marvel Spider-Man. Ending from Marvel Spider-Man. Becoming a Metroidvania from The Messenger. Connor chasing the Deviant in Detroit Become Human. Connor becoming a Deviant in Detroit Become Human. Blood Feuds, Ancient and Modern. Red Dead 2. I assume that's like a mission.
Yes.
Red Dead Redemption in Red Dead Redemption 2. I assume that's also a mission.
That is a mission, yes.
That's cool. And the epilogue in Red Dead 2. There are 2 epilogues, and I believe it's 21 missions total, so...
It's the entire epilogue.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's the biggest one. Then I would say.
I would also like to add accepting the pain from the missing. So I'll write that down.
Okay. I would also put in the credits from Tetris Effect.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. I would also put Metamorphosis, but I think the credits like kind of ties in together with that. Kind of like the end of Tetris Effect, pretty much. Is there anything else missing? I'm trying to think of my kind of big games from this year. There's a good twist at the end of Moonlighter, but I don't think it's gonna hang, so I wouldn't want to spoil it necessarily without having to. It's fun. It's fun. We all have fun here. You had the. I wanted people to know that you had the march from Detroit in here as well at some point.
I think I had that like since it happened.
Uh-huh.
You know, like when I first played it, and you know, I haven't really thought about it. So, you know,
You quickly took it out. Okay. Anything else? Anything else missing? Scott, tell me, you guys got anything?
Let me see. I don't think so. I think you covered.
When Tony and I played League of Legends during our
That
flight-
wasn't an experience. That was just a thing that happened.
All right, it was an experience for me.
what about those 20-hour Sea of Thieves moments that you had in like the last?
In the last day.
No, that's 2019, dude.
It's true.
This is all 2019.
Yeah, we were in the calendar year of 2019, so best
Okay, that's true.
best old game. We're coming for you. Or best previous year game, whatever you call it. The feather thin from Celeste, the Reach to the Summit from Celeste, I would probably put in here. That would be the moments. And beating Riven from Destiny 2 Forsaken, I would put in here. I would put in the time that I rubbed my Pikachu's belly and she like hugged me, but that's more specific to me. But it was a big experience for me. Okay, let's get into it. Facing Nier Gigante. That happens multiple times in Monster Hunter World too.
Several, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like your rival antagonist throughout it. Do you kill him at the end there, Tony? I don't even remember when you're fighting on the back of the big thing.
Yep, you do.
Yeah. So Nier Gigante.
Oh, not on the back of the big thing.
Yeah. It's in like the post game stuff, right? I'm trying to remember because I didn't do a lot of that. Nier Gigante is a cool looking monster, I'll say. You know what's a bummer in Nabashin? The stranger fight doesn't hold up, man. I went back.
It doesn't.
I went back and did it. And I was like, man, this was cool that one time. It's not cool anymore, I guess. That is a super bummer. Getting the blades in God of War, I also don't feel super strong about.
I like it a lot. I don't think it's on this list though.
Yeah. I was expecting it to happen, which took a lot out of it, but it is still a cool moment. The opening Marvel Spider-Man is very good. I think the ending is a lot stronger. I still wouldn't necessarily fight for either of them.
Nope.
The becoming a Metroidvania in Messenger is like it's such an underdone moment, right? Like it's not like a big thing. It's not like bombastic. Like the big moment of that game is when it changes from when you time travel from 8-bit to 16-bit and the palette changes. It's a very visual moment. The moment with the Metroidvania is like you kind of get thrown back out in the world and the shopkeeper shows up and he's like, all right, dude, I want you to check your map and we're going to go up here and he's like, wait, I have a map? What are you talking about? He's like, dude, you've been carrying this scroll literally the whole fucking game and you haven't looked at it?
Oh, that's what it is.
He's like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, just look at the scroll and you open it, it's a map. And it's like, oh, it's a Metroidvania now. It's very good. It's very good, but I don't know if it's funny just because the shopkeeper makes it funny, but
What about the whole was it the shopkeeper was a messenger or whatever that thing is?
yeah, so Oh man, that is a good one. So essentially, one of the coolest parts in the messenger. Sorry that I'm ruining it for people out there. I did warn that this was going to be the spoiler one. Is like, the game starts with the demons have come back, and they're destroying your village, and then the messenger from the east or from the west comes in, and he's kind of dressed in like more knightly armor, like more traditional Western armor, and he gives you the scroll, and he says take it to the top of the mountain, etc., etc. And he rides in on this big like bird. It's very cool. And then you go through the whole game. You time travel into the future, and it's 16-bit now. And then you go through hell, and then jump on the back of a dragon and ride the dragon to the east, and you come back to the village, and you jump off the dragon and deliver the scroll to a new messenger. And now it's like all future-y, and he's got like a gun, and it kind of looks like Contra, as opposed to Ninja Gaiden. And then the shopkeeper comes and takes you. He's like, all right, cool, you did it. You delivered the message to the next messenger. Here's your blue robe. You're now part of the blue robe order. And then you go into the shop, and now you run the shop. And you're in a blue robe, and you get to be like condescending to another idiot that comes in here thinking he's an adventurer. And then the messenger, the shooty Contra looking guy comes in. He's like jumping around like an idiot, like you would do the first time you came in the shop. And he talks to you, and he buys some upgrades, and then he leaves, and then you're just sitting there, and it's like, man, this sucks. And then the other shopkeeper comes, like your shopkeeper, who is in theory the messenger that gave you your scroll, which is kind of cool. They never really talk about that, but that is assumed to be the narrative. He's like, hey, have you checked on him yet? Like, you've got this crystal ball over here to kind of catch him if he dies, like stop time the moment before he dies and save him. He's like, oh shit, no one told me I was supposed to do that. And then you go check, he's dead. It's like, oh fuck, well, we got to do something about this. I guess get back out there and keep doing your stuff. It's very good. It's very fucking funny. And it's just, again, like oodles and oodles of style in the messenger. It's just very good. That is probably the moment I would put from it.
Okay.
So like, I would say like delivering the message from the messenger would be it. It's very cool. But I don't know. Ultimately, I'll just update this one. No, I'm sure. I don't know if that's gonna hang, but I'm happy with it not necessarily getting the first round of cuts. But we can get rid of these ones for now. The Connor Deviant scene, like we talked about it a little bit already. It's just so good. It's so like dumb but great, you know? Like there's a you're chasing this deviant through these like greenhouses on these rooftops through Detroit. At some point you jump on a moving train, and it's like the full like robot, like he looks down, looks up, then looks to the right, and his tie is like flapping in the wind, but he's like totally focused, and he just starts sprinting, full sprint down the train after the other deviant. And it's like, and that's when it like cuts to Hank. He's like, this is fucking crazy. It's just, it's so good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that moment. Like, I think the more emotionally impactful moment is Connor becoming a deviant, which we also talked about in like the last episode a little bit.
Yes.
But I really like that other one too. They're both very strong moments in a very good game with a lot. Detroit is nothing else if a game with a lot of great moments. And it pays off in dividends with those moments. Are you ready to fucking spoil all of Red Dead Redemption 2 right now, Navishin? So we got 5 big hitters right here.
I mean, like, I honestly, well, I could definitely take out Bluff Feuds, Ancients, and Modern. Yeah, that was a scene where Jack got kidnapped. So
Got it.
That's when everyone goes together. They all come together to like and burn down the house. It's a great scene, but like I don't think that hangs with this group. Red Dead Redemption is just great. The mission Red Dead Redemption. That is Arthur's last mission. That is him. Oh god, like so much happens. Yeah, so much happens. Because like it was right after the train mission, like a train heist. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was right after a train heist, and like you and John are going on the train. Like the whole gang is doing this, robbing a train, and like you're there with John the entire time. You already told him ahead of time, like, hey, like after we do this, like get the fuck out of here. You don't want to be here anymore. Um, uh, so like you do that entire thing, and then John gets shot, and like he falls off the train, and then like Dutch says, "I'll go after him. Like you just get the money." You're like, okay. So you rob the train and everything, and then like Dutch comes back later on with Micah, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like John's dead. Like he just didn't make it." Um, and then like you tell Abigail about that. So she's distraught. Oh God, no! What happened? Oh, like she gets taken by the Pinkertons, which are the police. Um, and then you and Sadie go after her to do that because like it was like the moment with Dutch again. It was like do you want to like go save Abigail or do you want to like get the money? And Dutch chose the money. So like you go and rescue Abigail. You tell her about you do that. You save her. Tell her about John. So she's upset. And then it's like, because like at this point, like I didn't even mention this. Like at this point, Arthur is dying. He has tuberculosis.
Yep.
And he had it from like the very beginning, like not the beginning of the game, but like near the beginning of the game. Like
Very
basically,
early on,
like
yeah.
basically like he was like interrogating this guy to like give him money for the camp because like they lended money to him. So like he was pretty much the guy who gets the money for people, I guess you could say. He got it from the sickly man who already had tuberculosis, and even though you had tuberculosis the entire time, and like you play the game for hours and hours and hours, and like it's one of those like kind of similar to like the best way to describe it is like kind of like how Persona 5 was just like you didn't know the Igor thing until like the very end, even though it was like they were pretty much hitting dents you at the very beginning, like man that voice is weird, and it's like
Something's off
like,
here, yeah.
yeah, it's like it's the same thing with Red Dead, but like you notice this Arthur just like just coughing in the middle of a sentence, and it's like, oh, I thought that was immersion, and like I didn't know he was fucking dying.
Yeah.
So like that's what makes that so good and so like shocking when you find out about it, because like it happens out of nowhere. Him just like getting those symptoms, it's like you're just doing your regular thing, going through like Saint Denis, and then like you just started coughing uncontrollably, and you start coughing up blood, and then you just fall on the ground. Then you take to the doctor and tells you had TB, all that other stuff. Anyway, so like Arthur's dying. This is pretty much like his last bit thing that he can actually do. So he saves Abigail, and like God, what happens after this? So pretty much like after saving Abigail, like this is like his last ride. So like he gets on his horse and he goes after Dutch and Micah. And John shows up too. God, like it's been so long, I almost forgot like how this plays out. But like like this is like Arthur's last moment, this is his last ride, you're feeling all these emotion, your horse fucking dies while you're doing it, and like if you're
Jesus.
It's a big moment too, because like if you're like me and you had that horse
The whole game.
pretty much near the whole game, like you, and then like he actually dies, and they actually linger on that moment too. So like in a way, it could be like a really cool, like a really impactful, like oh my god moment, or just like oh man, like you just killed the horse like 5 minutes ago. So like it all depends how you do it. I had the same horse. His name was Aladdin because he was Arabian, and then he died.
Aww.
So that was like a very sad moment for me. But then John shows up eventually. And then like you're just trying to get away because like there's Dutch and Micah who are shooting at you, and also the Pinkertons as well. So like this is pretty much like the last bit of stuff that you can do, and like you just pretty much you could choose to either like I get the money that like Dutch had, or like try to save John, and like of course I chose to save John. So we're like going through the thick of it and everything like that, and like and then like there was a point where I let John get away. And then like, I gave him my hat, and you realize that's like John's hat from Red Dead Redemption. So like, oh, fan service. and then like you eventually see Micah, and Micah was the biggest piece of shit in the game. Probably should have put him the worst best work character, but whatever. But like he's like the, I guess you could say, the antagonist or whatever. Like he's just the guy who's just been like ratting you out to the Pinkertons the entire time.
Oh shit.
And like cause like you see Micah, and it's like, yeah, Micah, he sucks. He's like the guy with the handlebar mustache, and just like when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, you're obviously like someone who's I'm going to like interact with, like we're gonna have a final battle eventually, and like, yeah, that's totally who he was. So you and him are like fighting, like Arthur barely breathing, like you could just tell this like and this is a fist fight as well, like you like you're just wheezing, and like you just could barely just even keep up, and then like Dutch shows up and everything like that, and like you're on the ground, you're barely breathing, like he's a snake, Dutch, he ratted us out, and like Dutch doesn't really know what to believe anymore, because he could either like choose his son, who was not his literal son, but like his son, the guy who's been with like for a good long time, Arthur, or like this Micah, a guy who's like he kind of trusts at this point now, but like like for just because it gets into his means, and that he just pretty much just walks away after that. And then like as Arthur, you just like you just pretty much just peacefully die, because like at that point you're just there alone, just looking out in the sunset and just like watching yourself just die and just slowly pass away. So like I'm telling this terribly, but like
I get it. Like I'm getting the beats. I assume you then play the epilogue as John Marston.
Yeah. And like most of that mission is just you just being a farmer and just being trying to like just rebuild your life again after like being gone from Dutch for so long, because like this is like a few years later, and like you're like like the first like couple of missions in that game is just like you just like going to this farmer's place and just like, hey man, like me, my wife, and my son, like we just got robbed by a bunch of people, we don't have any money, so like I'm a hard worker, I'll do what you need me to do, and I'll just do whatever you need me to do. So like he didn't get robbed or anything like that, he was saying that, so he had to bring up his past. So like the beginning missions of that game is like you just like picking up like cow dung from the and just putting it in a barrel, milking cows, building a fence, like you actually build a fence. And like there's like a certain like a few amount of times where you have to like actually like do some shooting and stuff like that, because like like you have like bandits like are trying to like rob the farm or something like that. But like yeah, like it's just like you're basically just playing that game as a farmer. And it's just great because like it's just the characters of like oh, because like it made me realize like how much John meant to me, how much Abigail meant to me, and like even how much Jack meant to me as characters from Red Dead Redemption 1 and now in 2, and like all this stuff, because like it gets to the point where like Sadie shows up, and like like she's a bounty hunter, and she's like, oh John, come with me and you can get like easy money doing this. He's like, okay. And Abigail is just not for it. She does not want that life anymore. Like she just went through too much for it. And then eventually she just leaves John. Takes Jackson, just leaves John. And so like John just more or less a broken man. He just pretty much just like he goes to a bank and like buys land and like literally builds the house by himself, like with uncle and Charles, but like he builds an entire house. You're doing the actual things to build the house. And you build the house for your wife and son, and like eventually they just come back, and like he's like, I did this all for you. So like I'm willing to like give up this old life of mine just so we can have a new life together. And like Abigail's just so happy about that. It's really sweet moments. Then he proposed to her on a boat, and that was like really that's the part that destroyed me. But yeah, yeah. Out of the two though, honestly, probably the epilogue for me is like the most impactful.
Yeah, hearing you talk about it, I think the end of Arthur's story and like the beginning of John's story, like I think it's weird because like you playing Red Dead 1, you have such an attachment to John, and I think like that that follows through. It's cool. Like that, I thought that was what was going to happen with Red Dead. Of like somehow, some way, you end up playing the epilogue of that game as John, kind of like how things turn out in Red Dead 1. It's cool hearing how it all happens. I definitely like the epilogue. What do you? Because you, I feel like, have played the most of these, Nabashin. I know this is our longest category always, but what do you feel the strongest about here? What would you pick as your 3?
My 3 would probably be like I like the delivering the message from the messenger. I didn't play that, but like hearing people talk about it is like always great. The epilogue from Red Dead and like honestly accepting the pain from the missing.
I get that. I would say, just to say, like, I would probably say, like, I would put the credits from Tetris Effect over delivering the message, personally.
Okay, I really like that too as well.
Yeah, like that was kind of like the moment that like had such an impact on me and kind of changed my perspective on that game. The Reach for the Summit thing, the last story mission, the last level in that game is called Reach the Summit. Essentially, the way Celeste plays out is you get almost to the top of the mountain and then you fall off the mountain, and you're injured, and you have to kind of confront everything that's happened up until that point. And you have to confront Battleline. And what's great is you accept her, right? You accept yourself, and accepting yourself has like the actual mechanical translation of it gives you a double jump, which I love. Like this kind of like very emotional story is like tied so closely to the mechanics. And then you literally have to climb the entire mountain over again. You have to go through every level again. Kind of remixed versions of all the levels with different puzzles, but you like each level in Celeste has a different mechanic, and you have to do all of them over again. And it's really cool, and it's like easily the best level in the game, and it's super well constructed. It's super fun. It's very long. It's very, very arduous, but having like the ability to double dash in the air, to kind of double jump, changes that game completely. And going through it all again with that new power, with this kind of reawoken acceptance of yourself, is really empowering. It's very cool. It's like the perfect way to end that game, I think. And then there's obviously bonus stuff after that, but I think it's very good. It didn't necessarily impact me the way it did some other folks I know, like Quentin Hoffman, for example. But I think like the way that is delivered is fucking awesome. But yeah, I would say, if you feel really strongly about accepting the pain, and obviously the epilogue, I would throw my hat on the credits from Tetris Effect as kind of like the final moment. Any complaints?
No, I'm good with it.
Nah, son. Without spoiling too much for some of these other games here, because I don't necessarily want to spoil it all. What do you think wins?
The credits from Tetris, honestly, for you, because like
I appreciate that.
It made it your game of the year, more or less.
Yeah, it's a really powerful moment for me personally. I know it like I said, I think 2 days ago on Game of the Year, like or it might have been the first day. Like I really do understand where it like doesn't necessarily speak to people, and like I've heard like keep your Luminous out of my Tetris, et cetera, stuff like that. I get it. But like, I don't know, there's just kind of like a full circle nature to Tetris Effect, and also like the year that the world has had, the idea that we are all in this together and we actually have to work together to do it is a really nice sentiment.
High School Musical. Let's get.
Yep. We're all in this
Stop.
together. Don't get me started on fucking High School Musical, baby. Cool. What about
I don't
status
really.
quo? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Ocean.
And I don't really want to get into accepting the pain for the missing, but like for real, like that makes that game like super special. Is that you should play the missing and experience what that means when I say accepting the pain.
I should. I will. Most turret section moment of 2018. Now, I like your description here. The most cliche gameplay implementation that's overused in modern video games. It's very much that. It's hard to think of like moments from that. To give game developers credit, like most good big games don't do like trite or reused mechanics anymore. And I think like that's a testament to those. I know you were interested in just cutting this category because we don't have a lot for it, but I like I like the category a lot. What we have right now is, were you gonna say?
I like it a lot too. I just want to put more into it, or like I can't find the right wording for the stuff that like I have personal issues with.
I got you. Maybe we can figure it out. We can hash it out. Stealth sections from Marvel Spider-Man, poor story mode in fighting games from Soul Calibur 6, the lobby from Dragon Ball Fighters, and Big Boys from an unaccredited game.
Mostly Spider-Man.
Mostly Spider-Man, which is like bigger enemies that are just tougher for no real reason.
Like, God, see, like this is like I'm thinking about it because like it's more of like even like with Spider-Man, like there's like 2 variations of characters in there, and then like when I say big boys, the big boys are mostly like from the DLC. Because like, oh, we have another variant of a person, and it's like basically the big guy from
Bigger boys.
Yep.
The bigger boys who are exactly like the big boys from Spider-Man, but now they have Gatling guns. So like now you can't really even like hit them like the way they're supposed to, and like to take them out, you have to like find these new convoluted ways because they're see, now I'm getting
baby, get it out, get it out.
Like the combat in Spider-Man is just not good at all.
Really?
In my eye. For me, yeah, because like when you think about it, it's like it's playing like it's not like that, but like because like it's pretty much one button that you're using the entire time, and then it's like because I'm trying to like play in the words because like I think about like how you play with, because like people like to compare this to Arkham, which is like so much farther from it. Because think of the mission, like think of the people that you fight in like Arkham, in any of the Arkham games. You fight like a regular grunt. You fight like the guy with knives, which is like nothing like that in Spider-Man. You had a guy with armor on him, which is nothing like that in Spider-Man. You do have your big boys with the mallet or whatever, but like you have to do those in interesting ways and like dodge them perfectly. If you talk about like the Titans or the twins, like the clown twins or whatever, and like don't even get me started with like Arkham Knight, how many different varieties of people you have. But like Spider-Man is just like the same type of guys. It's like you're like punch regular dudes, or the guy just has like a stick, so you have to like just do the web launcher. Or you just have the big boys where you just have to like not fight them directly, but like web them up, and like I just don't think the combat is just not really that great. But like that's like me having a overly critical perspective of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think I really do like the combat in that game. And I'm adding stuff to this list, so forgive me if I am speaking weirdly.
Like I think like because like what really made that stand out was the DLC. For Spider-Man, like how like not good the combat is. And I don't think that's like too much of a hot take or whatever. Like I think everyone agrees like the difficulty in the DLC is just like got like insane compared to like the regular game. Even if you did an ultimate difficulty, which I did, but like, and like those screwball challenges, even challenge missions, those are bad in Spider-Man as well. But you added some more. I didn't want to take up the conversation.
You're good. I added climbing towers in Spider-Man, although I don't think it's very offensive in that game. Clearing encampments.
You have to?
You don't have to. No. It's not even really climbing towers. It's like it's like these little things that you walk up to on top of buildings, but like you're so high up in the air in Spider-Man, it's not the same as like I would. It's just that it is just that mechanic is used again in some ways.
Okay.
Clearing encampments in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is basically like any area, like any on the map base, like enemy base. Got to clear this out. Got to do these 3 objectives in this. Like I got to burn supplies. Got to take out the captain, and got to do this or whatever. And that's like 90% of that game. And then bad boss fights in a strategy game from Valkyria Chronicles 4. Because I feel like that is like the exact same problem that not only Valkyria Chronicles struggles with, but all strategy games struggle with, is like bad boss fights. I think Fire Emblem has had some decent ones, but it's apparently still a challenge. And the boss fights in Valkyria Chronicles 4 are very, very, very bad, in my opinion. Now that it's a little bit fleshed out, man, I did not like the stealth sections in Spider-Man.
They're really bad.
Yeah, I
there's only one good part with it, and that's the part with Mary Jane like telling Spider-Man to like get like certain
yes,
parts.
that stuff is really cool. I like honestly, I think the Mary Jane Miles stuff is okay, but the stuff where you have to be stealth as Spider-Man is not good. Personally, I don't know where you kind of fall. Because I thought the Mary Jane, like we were just kind of sneaking around stuff, is like I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was pretty easy.
It was easy, but like it was overused. And
yeah, there's only there are 5 of those sections in the whole game.
Yeah, and you think you never have to do it again, and then like the first DLC, you
Oh,
have to
no.
do that with Mary Jane. Like how dare you? And everybody like universally did not like doing that.
Yeah, very much like that was probably already in the works, and they're like, ooh.
Yeah, there weren't any of the other ones, so I guess
that's probably true.
Exciting.
Yeah, I mean, like I put on climbing towers, but we can take that off. It's not a huge thing. It's just like, we going back to the well on this one. Yeah, like honestly, like the clearing encampments in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like the one that I'm like, even over anything in Valkyria Chronicles, like that is the one that's like bad. Like it's so frustrating. Like, that is like the one I would really fight for. That stealth sections. What's going on with the lobby in Dragon Ball Fighters?
It's just uninteresting. Like I like being like you could be your own character and stuff like that and walk around. That's cool. But like it's just unnecessary. Actually, like the really big thing about that with Dragon Ball Fighters in particular is like there's no like menu when you start that game. Like when you start the game, it's like either like play online or play offline, and either way, like you still have to like go into this lobby system to like even like do anything in the game. Where you want to go to the story mode, you want to go to like versus battle, you want to go online.
Super weird.
It's just a weird decision that's like just not good, and like it just makes things like a little bit more like convoluted and just like not as great. Yeah, it's just not that. It's not the highlight of that game, obviously.
I was going to put on Monster Hunter World online stuff, but like I'm kind of in the camp with Tony of it. It's like, I got used to it. It's whatever. It is
same with Smash.
Yeah, I mean, like I have no problem with the Smash stuff. Like because that in my mind works a lot like the Street Fighter 4 system. And I've just done battle arenas, and I've had 0 issues with that.
Right.
And I've had a great experience with it. So, like we did that pickup game 2 days ago before or mid podcast, and it was like we got in it like so quick. So I'm not too upset about it.
I think I want the third to be poor story modes in fighting game.
Is it still happening?
Yeah. Like even someone in Dragon Ball Fighters as well. Like even though they have the story parts which I said are good, which parts like interacting with characters is great. Like you're just fighting a bunch of clones and even the premise of the story is just like really dumb as far as like you have like a spirit inside of Goku and like, oh, that's like It's a really dumb story. Not thinking about it, because like none of the characters like have their powers, but like the only way they can use these powers is like this little hitting ghost spirit thing, which is supposed to be you as the player, like making so you can link with the other characters, so like they can have like their powers and stuff like that. It's really not that great. And Libra Souls and Soul Calibur 6 is just garbage. It's not good at all. Because like even the actual story mode is just like a visual novel type of thing, which I like visual novels, but like not like that.
Yeah.
Like it needs a little bit more going on.
Give me a
so,
choice, man.
yeah, and like even like the creative character story mode is just not that good at all. So
That's a
yeah,
bummer.
it's disappointing. Like like I don't really like saying like you need to be like like yeah like because like we have good ones. We have like Mortal Kombat, we have Injustice, and we also have stuff like Blaze Blue. Blaze Blue does a fantastic job with their story.
Yeah.
Even though that's quote unquote a visual novel as well, you want to argue that, but like they put a little more effort into it. It's like
Even
at least it has like a construction like a Disgaea game. So
yeah, even World of Light is like a lot more than the bare minimum, right? Like all the custom art they made for the world there, like I think some of that stuff's really cool. Obviously, like the scenarios that you're going through, in certain contexts, could be taken as like a bummer, but like that on top of like everything they did with classic mode and Smash Brothers, like there's a lot of effort there, especially compared to like Smash for Wii U, where it was like very, very bare bones. Yeah, what do you feel would win this? No, I'm kidding, because I fucking still upset about this clearing encampments shit in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
what was that again? I'm sorry.
I'm still upset about this clearing encampments shit in Assassin's Creed Odyssey because, like, one, it's a mechanic that Ubisoft uses in all of their games, so they should know better. But two, like, the loop in Assassin's Creed Odyssey is so much worse than the exact same loop in Assassin's Creed Origins because of all the dumb shit that they added to that game. Like on the RPG level of like they had it right and then they just ruined it, in my opinion. Of like it still to some extent feels good to like go through and stealth your way through a whole encampment and steal all the treasure and whatnot, but like just all this stuff that I've been talking about of like you can't like one shot stealth kill anybody pretty much in that game. You can't use your bow effectively in stealth. Like you can't do a lot of the things that made the same loop in Origins better. And it's just a bummer. It is like the most turret section thing of like this is just a thing that is in video games now, and it is done so poorly in this game. I think stealth sections is very similar, but yeah, it really being 50 to 60% of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it just hurts that game so much.
All right. I'm okay with that one then.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Like if it's the majority of the game, then
It's
like,
so much of that game, dude. Because I've been thinking about going back to it. Every time I'm just like, maybe no. Maybe you don't have to finish it. And I'm like, I want to finish it because I hear the ending's crazy. Did they talk about the ending on the Giant Bomb stuff?
They talk about one of the endings.
Oh, okay.
God, what was it? You beat the game, right?
No, I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, he talked about one of the endings of the game, which is like bonkers. So, like, it's like in a stupid way, but like,
I mean, I'm down for that though. Like, I want to see it. Anyway, most surprising game, the most shocking game from expectations to reality. I'm trying to think like because we did most surprising on the editorial ones. I don't remember what we had there. Right now we have Celeste, Yakuza 6, Detroit Become Human, Dragon Quest 11, Super Mario Party, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, The Missing, and Into the Breach. I would also put The Messenger on here, although I don't know if it hangs. Obviously, that game kind of came out of nowhere for me. What wins? The end. Black Ops 4 is a big one, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
I think it surprised all of us how that surprised you, Tony. So I think Into the Breach gets hurt a little bit because it is the guys that made FTL.
Wow, Tony liked a game that he thought he wouldn't like. Amazing.
I mean, like, it's not just that, but yes, I know what you're saying. But it's Black Ops 4, and that is such a weird game in of its own self.
Yeah, dude, what's going on with Tony? Votes for Evan as best guest, likes Black Ops.
Yeah, Tony's slowly turning into Evan. Into the Breach is only hurt in my heart by the fact that it is like the FTL guys, and like if you told me that this is the guys what made FTL, I'd be like, that game's probably fucking great.
And turns out
it is. But obviously, like how much you like that game, Scott, like is still surprising to some extent. Like I think as into it as you got, and how like, oh, you guys really need to play it. It's a very similar to like Undertale type thing of like Scott heard the word and the word was good, you know, like and
no, don't forget, like we told him to buy it. He bought it that day, but then it took him like maybe like 4 months to actually start
play the game. It's true. You did get hurt on that one, Scott.
Yeah.
But we can, if you feel really strongly about it, Scott, we can revisit it.
We probably should.
Okay.
Like, let's be honest. Detroit Become Human. It's a David Cage game.
Yeah.
It did what a David Cage thing does. If you were surprised by this, fuck you.
I think it was more of a surprise of like the better parts of that game, but like I know for a fact that Nabshin, you and I were both going into that game thinking that we were going to like it, and then both liked it. So it is like a thing that I think that did end up on the editorial list of like, because George and Logan obviously like went in that game expecting to not like it, and they both like that game, and they both kind of hate that they like that game. Yakuza 6 is another situation of like, I kind of knew I was gonna dig Yakuza. It was just a matter of like, when was I gonna get in on it, and obviously Yakuza 6 is a credit to how well they kind of they onboard you into the franchise at so late in the game. But I don't necessarily think it's surprising how great that game is.
Okay.
I am surprised at how good Super Mario Party is. I will like legitimately like, there is levels of like Nintendo polish in that game that does astonish me. Just because it has not been in that franchise ever. But like
my only thing against Mario Party is after watching that 30 turns.
Yeah, dude. It's still fucking Mario Party. I just finished that last night.
Yeah, but like, man, because I enjoyed Mario Party like a whole lot when I came out, and I still do. It's just, you know, I guess it's a matter of watching it and not actually playing it.
Yeah,
but like for that game in particular, I should say, because the board is boring.
Yeah,
like, just in general. So I don't think it's a good game to watch, but like, I think it's a good game to play though.
Yeah. Tony, have you watched the Super Mario Party 11?
Yes, I definitely did.
Fuck, it's so good, dude. It was everything I wanted and more. It was like the amount that Brad got into it by the end. Oh, it's perfect. I had my last move planned out.
Right.
Oh. Honestly, like, I would say a list I feel good about is Call of Duty, Into the Breach, and Dragon Quest. And I know that leaves off the Missing and the Messenger, but I feel like the amount you've come to Dragon Quest this year has been really surprising for me, at least. I don't know how you feel.
I agree. The Missing is very much a surprising game for me. In a lot of ways, but I have more stronger feelings for Dragon Quest, honestly.
Mm-hmm. All right, I like that. That represents all three of you guys in a really great way. Like it's a thing that I kind of said with the Messenger, of like, I literally had that entire game spoiled for me at PAX East when I got the demo for it. Not that I'm like upset about it, because I don't know how invested I would have gotten into it beforehand. And that moment was very surprising and like it was very effective. And like I've kind of quoted this over and over again throughout the year of like Thierry kind of described it as his inner child speaking to my inner child, and both of us were stoked about it. Even still, like I didn't necessarily go into that game in a vacuum, and if I had, it would have been a very different experience, but I didn't. So that's the hand I was dealt, and I had to deal with it. So I'm okay with it not necessarily making the list. So Dragon Quest 11, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and Into the Breach. What wins?
Call of Duty.
Tony's getting all these free victories.
Easy.
I think so.
I
Like-
will say
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the weak portion of Into the Breach is definitely, I would say, me liking the game.
How so?
A strong portion of interest Into the Breach is that before the end of the year, Tony likes the game.
It's true. We got him. Got him hook, line, and sinker.
And then it's Alex enjoy. I guess it's not so much that Alex enjoyed FTL.
Mm-hmm. I
Was he
like
in
Into the Breach
before?
too. Yeah, I was in. It was just a matter of like me getting to it, you know. I think the thing with Call of Duty for me is like this is like the year where everything changes, right? Like it's multiplayer only. It's like, hey, we're building a new pillar. We're gonna do Blackout. It's a big risk, obviously. Zombies, Blackout, multiplayer, right? Like these are the three pillars of this game. No single player, and it worked. And not only that, like I think, like you said, Tony, like from what little I've played of it, Blackout is like one of the coolest and best versions of a battle royale that's out there right now.
Yeah, I think it is.
And it was all kind of a risk in a lot of ways, and they crushed it. And it's one of those things, like I have not been able to feel kind of good about Call of Duty in a long time, but I do kind of feel pretty good about Black Ops 4, even with some of the more scummy season pass type stuff that they've done with that game. Like they took a risk and they nailed it, and it not only surprised you, Tony, and me, but a lot of people out there. So yeah, I like that game. I like that game for this. That's a good list though. I like Dragon Quest, Call of Duty, Black Ops 4, and Into the Breach is like one of the weirdest lists I think we're gonna see of these categories. What a weird trifecta of games. Shout out to Dragon Quest 11. I'm so glad that you like that game so much, Option.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, I gotta play it. I keep doing it. Hottest take of 2018. Our strongest opinion on a trend in gaming. I did not really read this one. I just read the first one. Xbox One X with 4K HDR TV is life. Delays are always acceptable if it means a healthy finished game. Red Dead Redemption 2. Unfinished games sold for $60. Fallout 76. Companies doing a terrible job presenting their games. And Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We can write down God of War on that list too, probably. But that we're
we
bleeding.
had something for that.
Yeah,
I meant more of like Assassin's Creed's like damage. I didn't know how to put the words for it because you had a huge issue with it at the time.
Yeah, like the Assassin's Creed Odyssey versus Assassin's Creed Origins. Like, why would you fuck this up? What specifically are we talking about with companies doing a terrible job presenting their games?
Stuff like Blizzard and
Ooh, yeah.
with like Diablo Immortals and like even like Battlefield 5, for example. Like again, this was a year where they could have like shift the narrative and like made Battlefield like the center point again, but like like they got into their controversies and with like the unwarranted like woman on the cover stuff, but like also like belittling their fans at the same time, and like also the way they delivered that game, where it's like not only like like a stagnant release where it's like it came out a week early if you bought it for like $100, and then like you get like 2 days early if you bought it for like $80, and then you get the full release at like for like $60 or whatever, like to like on the day it actually came out, but like the game wasn't even like fully out when it released. And even like stuff like Fallout 76 is like I feel like the communication is just like wasn't there for the game. As far as like what it actually was and what people were getting. Like they released a letter saying like, hey, this is our journey together and stuff like that. But like, like you're still charging $60 for it. Like when you think of like how Sea of Thieves came out, and like even though they didn't have the content for them there at first, like they like they came out like almost immediately, be like, hey, like we're still in this together, and like content is coming, like we're here with you every week, like to like update you on this game and like how we're gonna do this, and like Fallout, you're just not getting any of that. So like
yeah, and one was very successful and one was a lot less successful, and guess which one was more successful? Fucking Fallout. Like, yeah, it's a weird thing. I think like it's these middle three, right? It's delays, unfinished games, and companies doing a terrible job presenting them. Although I don't know how good I feel about a world where you shouldn't sell unfinished games for $60 is a hot take, right? Like, just kind of like, I know that's
it's bad wording.
Yeah, it's bad wording.
And also we've said it before, so like, and that's like only like the most egregious one, I would say.
Yeah, but it is like really bad. Like it's really bad. Like we have always been stand by like the hey, delays are okay. Like I was always the one like right at the top, like saying like Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out this year. Like you got to believe. And then it was ultimately pushed to January. And it's like, all right, like I'm disappointed, but like at the end of the day, if we get a finished game, I'm gonna be stoked no matter what. And of course, like that game was like pressed and minted like early December, so like in theory it could have come out this year too. But it is like whatever. It's not a thing to get upset about. Like a game getting delayed. Like there's a difference between like a Crackdown situation and like a Kingdom Hearts situation, right? Like
exactly,
it's recognizing those two things as very different and very separate. And also, like, Crackdown 3, I think, is actually going to come out in February. So that game looks like it could be done. So whether it's good or not, I don't know. So yeah,
and also the bigger discussion about it is like like a little crunch and everything. Like even if it's like a situation where it's like with a lot of Rockstar people who came out saying like, hey, this is like what we do, and like I'm proud to like to work this way. Like I'm just used to it, and like like this is like this is how we do our job, and like they don't like it may not be like a thing for you, but like like for other people, like the people around you, like it might be, or it's like it shouldn't be a norm when you can actually have better situations and better care for your employees, I feel.
Yeah. It's stuff like crunching overtime has been such a weird thing this year. Like I don't know how that fits in the hottest take necessarily. Like I don't want to blanket say crunch is bad, even though like I think in a lot of ways it is. But I also don't want to blanket say like we need to take out all overtime because like there are people that put their lives in the games and they wouldn't have it any other way. It's hearing like all that Rockstar stuff. Like if folks listening out there have not read Jason Schreier's kind of expose on it, is his article where he interviews like I think like 80 employees. It's a lot. It might be less than 80, but it's super interesting. It's just it is exactly what I expected in that it is very much a mentality, and it goes beyond just the surface level of like what it looks like from the outside in, but it is also like not what I expected in like how people feel about it and the culture that surrounds it. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like when it came out, like it was like this. It was like for a company like Rockstar. I was like, oh yeah, like almost like made me want to say obviously.
Yeah.
This was a thing because like they're not the number one gaming company for any reason. Kind of like Naughty Dog, and Naughty Dog does crunch, but like you
And
will
it's
hope,
bad there too, right? Like
yeah, but you will hope it'd be somewhat better, but like it might be slightly, but like it's pretty much still going through the same things as well.
yeah. I would say like all this being said, maybe companies doing a terrible job presenting their games should win too, because it's been a rough year.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like I forgot about the Battlefield 5 stuff, and it's been a thing of like, man, I don't even know what's going on with that game because of how poorly a job EA is doing of telling you what's happening with that game.
I didn't know it released when it released, and it's just like
I didn't know it was delayed until like we got to the release date that it was supposed to have in October.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's a mess. And like so many good games out there could have been done better because if they were presented better. I think that's still true. But these are all very relevant. Like, it sucks that we still got to say like, hey, you shouldn't ship unfinished games for $60. Like,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't have to tell you that, you know.
Honestly, I still feel delay should be the winner. Because like I said, this, like, if anything, this is the year where it's like, yeah, delay your fucking games. Like Last Guardian came out and like that game got delayed to death, and and that game came out the way it is, and like that game is finished.
Yeah.
Like it or not, that game is a finished game, and like and I love it for it. Even with the problems that it has with that game, but like
Yeah, I gotcha. I can get behind that.
Hmm.
I'm with it, as the kids say. I don't think any kids say that.
I'm a kid, I'm a squid, and I say that.
Cool, man. I'm a kid. I'm a squid. I want to just... Man, that Splatoon song is so good. The Yeah You Right, or Yeah You Right, award for the best game with the best game flow. I like this description option. Our favorite game that we feel feels consistently great through its repetition. Right now we have Celeste, God of War, Into the Breach, Marvel Spider-Man, and The Messenger on here. Is there anything missing?
Into the Breach.
Into the Breach is on there.
Oh, I missed it.
Dead center, right there. Gotcha.
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells probably be good, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Trying to think. I'm racking my brain. Ooh, Moonlighter. Duh. God. That is very much about its flow. Good loop, man. Game's a good loop. I think Monster Hunter World would be on here, but I don't think it would hang necessarily.
I want to throw Mega Man 11 on there.
Okay.
It's not gonna hang, but I want to at least mention it.
Okay. I would say the same about Destiny 2 Forsaken, but I just feel weird about it being on here.
Whatever, man. Live your bliss.
It's true. Live in your truth, Nobishin. Embrace
Reach
it.
out to the truth, dude.
Let me tell you about Darksiders 3. Never mind. The end.
I played that game.
I did play that game. I'm still playing that game. I
Any
had a
better?
nice little conversation about it on the editorial game of the year.
Any better?
It is getting better. They've been patching it too. They added like a whole combat mode that makes it play more like other Darksiders games, which I don't know how I feel about it quite yet.
Okay.
But it is gotten better. It's not all bad. It's rough, but it's not all bad. Man, yeah, I think like I was gonna fight a little bit for Spider-Man because I love how that game flows.
Hey, man, I platinumed that game.
You did mostly on game flow, I imagine.
I would say it can be on here.
That shit flows.
But I'm looking here. I think like the strongest three are Into the Breach, The Messenger, and Dead Cells.
Okay, so yeah, like let me go ahead and knock on Spider-Man, even though I haven't played it for a bit. The parts that
Do
you
it,
complain
Scott.
about that game, like from what I'm hearing, is its repetition.
I would say like there are two parts.
The part that feels good is swinging.
Yeah, which
And
is
that's you're hanging on the word flow, but like there's a lot more to that game than just swinging.
I know, but like there's also a lot to the traversal in that game. It's not just swinging; it is like any kind of traversal in it. It feels good to do, in a way that's hard to describe. Like you're not wrong, Scott. Like the amount of combat in that game is a bummer. I'll say, like it kind of reminds me of Uncharted in that degree of like, okay, if I do it again, and like the base clearing, also base clearing of that. I totally forgot about that. Not mentioned.
Oh, fucking base clearing, dude. Because I was just thinking about like
They're very
like,
long. They're just so long.
Yeah, they are. I was just thinking about like, I enjoyed getting like the backpacks and stuff like that. I know you didn't care for that. But
I like the backpacks. It's mostly other collectibles that I do not give a shit about.
Yeah, it was like the backpacks and the towers that I enjoyed doing in that game. It was like, I even enjoyed the Taskmaster stuff, but then like I said, the DLC, it was Screwball.
The Taskmaster stuff.
Ooh, do not play that DLC because Screwball like murders that shit. It's like if you had like any affinity for it, it's like dead on right.
There are parts of it that are great. It's probably not the best game flow, I'll say, which is a bummer. It is a fourth in my heart, is what I would say. But like I was saying earlier, Into the Breach, The Messenger, and Dead Cells, like I feel like we're made for this category.
You wouldn't say Celeste as well?
Celeste is really good. I think repetition hurts that game more than it helps it.
Right, because it's like it's time to, in order for it to like to fit, it's time to play Celeste again, and like in order for God of War to really fit, it's time to play God of War some more.
Like the challenge levels, I'm sure is what you were probably thinking about, Nabshin, with Celeste. And they're very good. Like they're a little bit more Meat Boy-esque, but like the game proper is a lot less about dying and repeating. It is just like, it is more about succeeding. Obviously it is built around like death being a big part of it and like retrying, but it is not like the whole deal. Which is why I would probably say like it's not like the number one contender in my heart. The Messenger on the other hand, like that is very much like what I think of, like it flows so well, like that the cloud step mechanic, movement in that game, the way you get additional ninja tools, and the way that change every single time you get one, it completely changes how you get around that world. It's awesome. It feels so good.
Can I say I'm bummed that we can't put Hollow Knight on this list?
Me too, dude. That game's got a great loop. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Hollow Knight's very good. The mechanic of healing yourself in that game is brilliant. It's just as brilliant as like the cloud step and the Messenger and like the time travel thing and Into the Breach. Like all these, like the way games have like smartly engineered themselves to be repeatable is awesome. And like some of the indies this year just highlight that so well. Moonlighter included. I just like I personally think the flow in Moonlighter is great, but it's not as good as some of these other ones. Tony, Scott, do you guys feel good about those three? Into the Breach, The Messenger, and Dead Cells?
Of course I do.
Yep.
What wins? I think I feel good about all of these. Like
I feel good about Dead Cells.
I don't have any context for it. You're gonna have to fight pretty hard.
What, to beat game flow on Into the Breach?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I think that Into the Breach it's a run style game where the runs take forever and then you die and you completely restart, which is fine. But I don't know if one run really flows into the next run.
It absolutely does.
I think
How?
it does.
What's the difference? Like
the difference with Into the Breach as far as to run-based games, in Into the Breach, you are generally I don't know how you played because you kind of only played like one match and you said you were, but that's kind of never how it went when I played.
Well, I didn't say. I mean, I'm not done with the game at all, for sure.
Right, I'm just saying, like you had one run.
Yeah, but like I think that like when you put it up against something like Dead Cells, where the whole point of that game is like, you get in that flow, and because the game rewards you if you kind of get into it and start going fast and jumping between enemies and killing stuff and getting into that flow of actually playing the game, is so important to Dead Cells and what makes it fun. Where like I don't know, Into the Breach is more for me of like just a fucking like it's more like a strategy. You plan out your turn, you take a turn. I don't think there's really a flow to playing that game. I think that it's a cool methodical strategy game, but I don't really see a flow of minute to minute gameplay. It's at least not in the way that Dead Cells does it. Like
I'll say this, like having played both, like it's hard to compare the two. It's definitely like a challenge. They're both roguelikes. They're both in some ways roguelites. In that like they have crossover stuff. Like I'm totally with you, Scott. Of like as soon as I finished a run of Into the Breach that I didn't win, I wanted to go back and play again.
It's not really even about that. It's the whole time warp mechanic that plays into it so much. So you start a run. If it starts to go south, you start feeding experience into your leader or the person you want to take into the next one.
And then taking them into the next run it's a really cool idea.
And then either you abandon the current timeline to start your next run, which you kind of just start going immediately, or you continue preparing for it.
Again, this kind of just screams methodical strategy game. Like you're making this conscious decision, like, all right, this run is like I can't get to the next thing, or I'm not going to be able to do it as well as I want to in order to achieve success. So let's plan in for the next one. That's still like slow, painstaking strategy, which is great, but I think that it kind of is not the essence of game flow and category here.
Well, there's a reason why we have this little under description for every category.
Consistently great through its repetition. I think
you just kind of.
Yeah, I think that Into the Breach appeals only to the broader definition that we've given it, so that more games fit into this category. Where Dead Cells actually fits, like to the T. Its game flow is what makes it good. Where Dead Cells is good and Into the Breach is good and has game flow, but Dead Cells lives on its game flow.
There's also quite a bit to be said to thinking about your turn, then quick chaining the moves.
What I was gonna say is I think what is great about Into the Breach is that it injects flow into a game that typically doesn't flow, and I think it works really well in that game. And I think there is more to it than just kind of it being a stagnant strategy throughout itself. I think looping back in and I have this person with these abilities and this experience now, and it changes how I'm going to play this, especially given everything is random. But I also think Dead Cells plays super well moment to moment, and you play it faster and faster the more you play it in a given sitting. And as the speed of Dead Cells increases, so too does I think the what you get from that flow.
Yeah, for sure. And the game even has mechanics that are there but not required. They're optional mechanics that even play into that. And you can get a perk after your first floor that makes it so after every enemy you kill, you start a kill chain, and the longer your kill chain is, the more damage. And at the same time, your character just by default moves faster the more enemies that he's killed recently. Yeah. So you just get he runs around faster, dodges faster, does everything. So if you're really going through it and doing it doing it quickly, you can really get into having a very fluid feeling character. Even more than that, game already feels fluid. And you just
when you're in it, when you're in that flow, all you want to do is keep moving forward, right?
Exactly.
It's
slowing down to do anything. Even a cell drops and you don't want to stop to go back and pick it up because you're fuck that, I gotta keep going.
Yeah, and that's cool. It's cool that the mechanics of that Into the Breach. Like I said, that's why it's weird to compare the two. I think Into the Breach makes me want to keep playing it for very different reasons. And Dead Cells, the reason you keep playing it is the moment that you're in. That feels so good. I think both are great.
Would you say Dead Cells is Rogue's Legacy with even better controls?
Yes, 100%. It's Rogue Legacy if it felt even better to.
I wouldn't, because I think that it is going for a much more different thing, with the Metroid mechanics that they inject into it. But I could see that argument. I don't know. I think personally, like, I'm happy with all three of these on this list. I think Dead Cells is probably a better fit for this category. But that doesn't necessarily mean Into the Breach is going to get snubbed anywhere else. Like,
sure.
I already think Into the Breach has not gotten snubbed. I think it's got a lot of recognition, but like, yeah, I think Dead Cells just speaks more to this category. But they're both here for a reason. That is where I'm at, Scott. We found the heat.
Yeah.
We got there.
Well, I'm on something different.
Okay.
The more I hear about this game, the less I think I'm gonna like it.
I don't know. Like, I'm really curious where you fall on Dead Cells.
Wait, you said the more you hear about it, the less you think you're gonna like it?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're insane and need to try the game because you're absolutely right.
I feel like
I think I'm not going to be as high on the gameplay itself.
I
think the character, how would I phrase this?
the character
The
personality
put into that you get out of it is probably top notch.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Scott, because like I think I went into Dead Cells thinking I was really, really, really gonna like it, and it didn't ultimately click with me. But I do like really respect what it does. I'm not sure. I would say go into it with as an open mind as you can, as I would say with most things. All right. I'm shutting it down. Shutting down the cat. We found the heat. We got there. We just gotta start pitting Dead Cells, Scott's favorite game of the year versus Tony's favorite game of the year.
Yeah, dude.
I'm really excited when this comes back up in the top 10. The next category, best song, is this is a fun one. Let me make sure I got all my stuff. You guys got to also tell me if it's too loud or too quiet, because I was playing a lot of things too quiet last time around. And I I can always fix it in post. But I want to make sure you guys can actually hear it. We've got some songs on here. We're going to go and listen to some of these songs. We are going to vote. So we're going to pick this is a top 5, right? We are going to vote, and essentially like the one with the most votes, the most crossover is going to be the number 1 and down through number 5.
Also, if there's like a Monster Hunter or God of War song, just put it in the list because I couldn't find any, honestly.
That's tough. I think that a lot of it's more just kind of like ambient background noise, and background music and stuff. There's not like one from Monster Hunter that really sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, there might be. Let me see if I can grab. Let me see if I can mute this first. Cool. A Moonlighter song, because there's one that I do like a lot.
Also, I have nothing from the Messenger on there.
Oh fuck yeah! All right. Well, I will get the one from the Messenger that is like fucking so good. Nabashin, while I do that, could you go ahead and read the nominees as we have it?
Sure. So we have Reach the Summit for Celeste. Antiquity Row from Into the Breach. Connected, Yours Forever, Tetris Effect. Dolphin Surf from Tetris Effect. Main Theme from Octopath Traveler. Decisive Battle 2 from Octopath Traveler. Main Theme from Marvel Spider-Man. Main Theme from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Battle Theme from Deltarune. Minute's Awakening from Minute. The Lobby Theme, from Dragon Ball Fighters. The main theme from Dragon Ball Fighters. Character Creation from Soul Calibur 6. Music from Florence. My Last Son, Red Dead Redemption 2. The Moonlighter from Moonlighter.
And then I think it's Bamboo Grotto. I'm just going to search Bamboo the Messenger. I'm going to hope that YouTube takes me to the right spot. Yeah, there we go. Bamboo Boogaloo. That's very good. I forget, like, all the songs in the Messenger are pretty short too. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna listen to some music, and then we'll take a break and vote on what we like. Does that sound good, guys? Where do we want to start?
We should do the one where
We should talk to the one. We should do the one that kind of shouldn't be on the list in the first
that's
place.
what I was about to say, Scott.
The guy, like this is the Delta Rune one, the one that we can't actually pick.
I feel like we can pick it. It's new music for a video game that came out this year.
You see, that's the thing.
I
Not for a video game.
I know it's like a prototype thing, but it's still a thing that you can download and play. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
It counts as closer to a demo than it does anything else.
But also, like, the thing that Deltarune is going to be when it comes out is going to be different. So, like, it's a similar situation of, like, PT, where, like, I would still give this thing its own thing. It's new original music for that. I think it can, at the very least, qualify for best song.
Great.
Let me...
Play it for me.
I'm trying to find it. Where is it? Middle?
Right here.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Napchin. Starting over. Is this too loud or too quiet?
It's kind of loud.
I think it's good.
Man,
You see, now it's too quiet.
that was like one divot too. Toby Fox just makes good shit, man.
Right?
This is just like the battle music also. Like,
I will say it sounds slightly off, like it's like a mile away or something.
great. I don't know if I can fix that. Let me see if I up the volume a lot.
Oh my, that's so loud.
Yeah, it's very loud. I
Let
can
me
see
turn
my
everything down. Hold on.
I can see my waveform bumping with that one. That's very good. Reach for the Summit is very good too. Let's go right into that one. And there's like it's kind of got this sound throughout it. What's cool is Quinn was telling me that Lena Rain, the person that did the music for Celeste, they would send her like a prototype of each level that she could play, and then she would make the music for the level. So she was making the music as they were making the game. And this is like, so this is the final level of the game. It's very much like, you're very inspired, like, going into this. Like, it comes at you at an 11 and you're like going, like, full speed throughout the whole thing. It's 11 minutes long because the level is so fucking long. I think it took me like 47 minutes to finish that level. Where most of them take like 20 to 30. It might have taken me over an hour, actually. And it's like a reimagining a lot of the level themes throughout the music. So if I jump up, this is like 7 minutes into the song. It's very different because it's like more reflective of like chapter 4 and 5 of the soundtrack, and it's like that area that you're going through. So it's really cool. It's cool that it's like a medley for the song, or for the game, in the very last song. Let's go into Antiquity Row. Yeah, this is good shit. It's like, again, the same deal of like FTL, like good ambient strategy music.
Yeah, they have some other good ones in there too.
Can you think of them?
I like the desert one.
Let me see.
I do not remember what this is, but I would know.
Yeah. I tried to see if like there was a playlist nearby that had it, but there's none. But like, yeah, I just like the kind of low tones. It's very like, it sounds like high stakes, right? Because like you're fighting against the end of the world.
It sounds high stakes and kind of futuristic.
Yes, which is like exactly what they're going for aesthetically. This is the credits music from Tetris Effect. We won't listen to all of this so I don't become like a sniveling baby by the end of this podcast. I really like that they have not released the soundtrack for this game also. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we'd have
Killing me.
you have to figure that out. But you like, what I like too is like, if you play this in VR, you're spiraling through these like plants and tendrils, and you can like look around yourself. It's very good. And again, it's like the theme of that song kind of done acoustically almost. Obviously it's not acoustic, it's piano, but it's done very well. And then of course Dolphin Surf. This one's very good. I'm glad you chose this one, Nabashin.
Yeah, it takes a while to build up in this one.
Yeah, we can jump around a little bit, but like the dolphin clicks are very good. Jump to the moment where they kind of break through the surface. Kind of builds to this, and then it eventually like crescendos. It's chill, you know, like most of Tetris Effect's music. And it
Tony, I really want you to play that.
Dude, I want to.
I think
When's it coming out on PC?
I feel like I heard about it coming to PC sometime soon. I might have been wrong about that. But yeah, it's good. It's very uplifting. Like that one sticks out to me as like one of the more uplifting ones without lyrics. I'm sad because Scott White and Mike Burgess are not here. They would do the Octopath soundtrack justice, where I will never be able to. But this is the main theme of Octopath Traveler.
This is the one that's like, God, it's like, like I didn't play the game this much, but like this is like the thing you hear when you turn on the game is like I just like just listen to this by itself. It's so good.
Oh, cool. Scott's adding stuff here too. What I liked about Octopath is like it'll transition naturally character themes into boss themes, and there's like a different transition for each character depending on which character you're playing as, what chapter you're in. So it does a lot of cool stuff with music. This is like some JRPG-ass shit. I do like it.
It sounds like it, yeah.
But the thing who made Bravely Default.
Yep. This is decisive battle.
I love the term decisive battle.
It's so good. And like this is exactly what I hear when I hear decisive battle too. Dun 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 dun. It's like, oh shit.
Something's happening.
Something decisive is happening.
Yes, exactly. Whatever it is, it's very decisive.
It's fucking happening as shit. It's good. It's good music. Marvel Spider-Man main theme. I will say, like, they certainly made it sound like a movie theme. Like like a movie score. And it's good. It's just like it doesn't stand out to me. You know, it doesn't seem necessarily original.
It isn't even original, but like
it's good though.
I think it stands out a little bit. It's just more of like you have your choir in the background. It's like, oh yeah, this is very much like what I would think of like a superhero movie theme or something like that.
Yeah. I guess my thing is, if you told me this was like the Amazing Spider-Man theme, I would say like, yeah, that sounds right. Like I couldn't tell the difference between this and the movie Spider-Man.
Yeah.
This is the main theme to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is very good. There's a lot of good music in Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's hard to sparse through, like it's hard to pick all the ones. I'll say like, I really like this theme.
I did.
It's hype. It's good.
I will say like the lyrics kind of like, you know, like
I love it.
I mean, the lyrics are fine, but like I just like just the instrumental better for me personally.
That's fair. I do love the song. It's just so ridiculous. It's very Smash Brothers. Like all those themes like stand out. This is Minutes Awakening.
Go about 26 seconds in. Because it takes a while to build up.
Gotcha. Okay. It's fun watching Scott try and add something to this list.
It didn't want to work with me,
It worked. It's fine.
so I gave up.
You got it in there eventually. I like this beat. Like, doo, 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 doo. This is the lobby from Dragon Ball FighterZ. I do remember this music. Some Dragon Ball video game music. I do like it.
Like honestly, when I hear this, every time I hear this theme, I think, oh man, they just like took the soundtrack from Sonic Adventure, just put it in this game.
That's funny, but that is also very much a Dragon Ball song.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a Dragon Ball scene.
It sounds like a song that I've heard from Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. It fits the aesthetic very well. And then the main theme for Dragon Ball FighterZ, which I don't know if I've heard.
You heard it.
Oh, whoa! There's a lot going on here. I don't think I've heard this before in Option.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is pretty good. Does this get you hyped up?
Yeah, that's how you start the game. It's very guilty here, honestly.
Yeah. You can feel the arc system where it's going. That guitar, though, holy shit. It's like some music that Scott would listen to on his spare time.
Don't insult that.
This isn't
Yeah,
hard
that's
enough. This is the character creation from Soul Calibur 6.
I wouldn't necessarily say this is good, but man, did I hear this a lot in character creation, and I just like go along with it.
I got you. that applies. Like that makes sense.
Like, I just hum this to myself like literally every time.
It kind of reminds me of Fire Emblem music. Is there any ones you want to add here, Tony? Also.
I would, but they're not classified as songs.
I gotcha.
But like all the sea shanties and sea of thieves, so good.
Yes, they're
When
very
everybody's playing with all the instruments, it's so good.
good. Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think anything. There's any super outstanding music in the games that I've played.
Okay.
There's some like decent shit, but like
I'm in for some
that Tetris Effect stuff. Whoo boy.
Oh boy. This is music from Florence. Which I assume this is the moment that she hears Krish playing for the first time. So, just to give a little background, like, Florence is cool because the two characters, Krish and Florence, like, Florence's music is all piano. And Krish, like, actually plays the cello. And all of his themes, anytime he's on screen or talking, like, it is demonstrated by the cello playing. It could be an upright bass. I don't think it is. I think it's a cello.
An upright bass?
An upright bass! I don't know. I'm not sure. Because he's not plucking it. But I don't know if you have to pluck an upright bass. You probably know better than I do, Tony.
it can be done both ways.
Okay. But Florence's music is very tranquil. It's very good.
Mhm.
My Last Son from Red Dead Redemption 2. A whole lot of sun going on here. My Last Son Battle Theme. That's what it says. Some cowboy shit.
Honestly, like, there's a lot of good music in Red Dead Redemption 2, but like, it's so goddamn hard to find.
Yeah.
So like, I just found a good one and just like stuck with it. But like, that soundtrack is amazing for me. I feel.
I gotcha. I like the kind of old westerny style music in that aesthetic. Like in context, I think it works a little bit better for me. This is the Moonlighter from Moonlighter. So this is like the shop music that plays when you're tending your shop. It's very reflective of like the soundtrack as a whole. A lot of cool little instruments used together. And that like kind of sounds like a mandolin, like very plucky theme. It's very good. Makes you think like a small town adventure, you know? There's all these little instruments too. I just love it. Bamboo Boogaloo. This is some. We're getting into pixel shit.
Hey man, at least this Boogaloo isn't fucking electric like all the other ones.
It's true. There's a lot of good music in the Messenger. I think, as a whole, its soundtrack is phenomenal. This is one that sticks out. And then, just for comparison's sake, I'll play the kind of 16-bit version of this, which you play when you revisit the level for the second time. And again, like, the tracks play simultaneously, and when you switch between aesthetics, it seamlessly changes music. Fucking music's so good. The soundtrack of that game is awesome. And then Scott, you added Field of Hopes and Dreams from Deltarune as well.
Yep.
I immediately see why you did. Already some good shit right now.
How far did you end up getting?
I got like 40 minutes in. Not nearly long enough.
You didn't get to this one?
I got to the first combat. And a little bit after, that was it.
Oh, you saved right before.
Yeah. Right before shit got real, as I was expecting it to.
Basically, this is essentially just the first big area.
Got it. Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
You pop out of the tutorial gate, and then this immediately starts.
Cool. Yeah, that's good shit, man.
It is real
You
good.
could honestly just put all the main songs from that game and just toss them in here.
Yeah, probably. I do not doubt it. You just added the theme from Sushi Striker, Namashin. Let's get a. Oh, I get to watch a little anime cutscene right now.
Give me the anime. Let's go.
This is very anime. Oh, hell yeah.
This is my favorite one so far.
This is very good. I'm not gonna lie. I do like this a lot.
I wish the game was better.
Yeah.
Well, the game is actually really good. It's just the fact that you can't like do retries like
Oh,
immediately. and like that fucks with me, and like that's why I haven't played it as much.
Yeah, that is a bummer. All right, is there any other ones we want to re-listen to? Is there any other?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Entire list this time. So
Yeah, we blew through it too. Some good stuff. We each get what 5 votes, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and everybody pick your 5. For your number 1 pick gets 5 points. Your number 2 pick gets 4 points, etc., etc. And then the one with the most points will be our winner. And then we will go down from there.
I forget how we do this every year.
I just explained it.
No, I mean, like, do we put stars? Never mind.
I'm gonna write it down from just so that way I don't get in your guys' way.
Okay.
right.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did do that where we just write the number. Do you want to write the number that it is or the
We
amount?
generally do this individually.
Well, they're the same, are they not? I put the number. I put the amount of points.
Yeah, I was gonna say put the amount of points that you would give it.
Yes.
That would be a lot easier. I'll just do that as well.
Where are you? There you are.
Nabashin or Tony gave the Sushi Striker theme 5 points. I love it.
I did.
Tony.
I love it.
Where are you? Minute.
That's my 1, my 5, and my 4.
I'd like to give it the award for most Persona ass song this.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I'll give that the 2. Oh, true. Yeah. I'll give that the 5. Yeah. Okay, that works. Cool.
Fuck it.
All right.
Everybody done?
Yep.
Cool. Let's just get rid of. Go ahead and delete the ones without any votes. Moonlighter, no votes. Too sad. All right. It's a little contentious too. Although it looks like Deltarune ran away with it. It's close though. So Yours Forever has, that's what, 11 points. Then the Deltarune song Field of Hopes and Dreams has 8 plus 5, 13 points.
13.
Yeah, no surprise.
Turns out things Toby Fox touches turn to gold.
Yeah, he's got his way to our fucking hearts, man. Those are 2. There's a lot of. That's more crossover, I think, than we've ever had. Yeah, I think. So it would be Field of Hopes and Dreams would be number 1. Yours Forever number 2, and then like the next one, it has 6 points. The next 2 have 6 points. Battle Theme from Deltarune, and the theme from Sushi Striker have 6 points, and then the main theme from Octopath Traveler has 5 points. Those are our 5.
All right.
Let me go ahead and clean this up. What's cool is the listeners at home have been hearing these songs throughout the days already, and I hope you've been enjoying them. Dun, 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 dun. All right, take this guy, put him at the top. We also have a tie. I don't know if we've ever had a tie in this category before. With the number 3 and number 4 spot. Cool. So our best song goes to Field of Hopes and Dreams. I know it's weird. It might be not super satisfying for people for us to vote on this, but it's just kind of like trying to find the crossover in the music that we all like.
Generally, it works out.
Yeah, it does. It's worked out pretty well for the last couple of years, so I'm totally happy with it. Yeah, like you said, Tony, Toby Fox kind of has his way to our heart.
At the very least, with his music.
Yes, at the very least with his music, but some might say with his game design and mechanics as well. So, and runners up being Connected, Yours Forever from Tetris Effect, the credits music from Tetris Effect, Battle Theme from Deltarune, Theme from Sushi Striker, and the main theme from Octopath Traveler. I'm kind of glad Octopath got a little representation on that list. Scott put all of his points into that one, which I respect. That's it. That's the end of day 4.
I put my last point into it.
Oh, you put your last point into it. That would mean it only got 1 point, and I fucked all this up. But that's okay.
For what?
For Octopath Traveler.
Oh, I put 5 points on that one.
Oh, that was you. Okay, got it.
Right. So Octopath Traveler had 6 because I put 1 point.
Okay, yeah. So then it would have tied with Battle Theme and the theme from Sushi.
Okay, so maybe it works a little less than it has in the past. But it still works.
There was still crossover though. People were still happy with it. So, let's go back through, summarize real quick. Best experience goes to the credits from Tetris Effect. And runners up being Accepting the Pain and the Missing and Epilogue from Red Dead 2. The most turret section moment of 2018 goes from clearing encampments from both Assassin's Creed Odyssey and I think we can say Spider-Man. We didn't think of that at the time, but we can totally add that on there. With runners up being Poor Story Mode and Fighting Games and Stealth sections from Spider-Man. Most surprising game is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 with runners up being Into the Breach and Dragon Quest 11. Hottest take of 2018 goes to Delays are always acceptable if it means a healthy finished game, with runners up being Unfinished Games sold for $60 and companies doing a terrible job presenting their games. The Yeah, You Right award for the game with the best game flow goes to Dead Cells, with runners up being The Messenger and Into the Breach. And the best song, Field of Hopes and Dreams from Deltarune, with the 4 runners up being Connected, Yours Forever, Battle Theme, Theme from Sushi Striker, and Main Theme from Octopath Traveler. We just did those, so I hope it's still fresh for you. Thank you all again for joining us for another day of deliberations. We've had a little bit of heat today. Tomorrow's the last day. We're going to go through our last categories and form our top 10 games of 2018. That represents all of us. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Option. I've been Alex. We'll talk to you all with more games, more deliberations, more fights tomorrow. Titles. You can stop recording now.